Hey guys, what I'd like to do today is talk about the Sony RX100 Mark VII. This powerful little compact camera came out in mid-2019. It was hugely popular with critics, with customers, with photographers, videographers, YouTubers, and it's easy to see why, because this is a powerful little solution, but it's also very flexible. And 4 years later in 2023, I still think this is a great little camera, and it's very easy to recommend this for a number of different people, people that are traveling and want to take good photos, for YouTubers, etc. Now, I will put an asterisk here and just warn you in advance, I am selling this, which is why I'm doing a video of this today. But the reason for that is because it's surplus to requirements in my own photo and video setup. I've purchased some other cameras and I no longer use this because of that. But it did take me a while to get to that point, to admit to myself that it was time to sell this because I've loved this camera so much. Now, for those of you who don't know, the RX100 Series came out in 2012. It was a game changer then because they introduced this larger 1-inch sensor. Before then, compact cameras had like half-inch sensors, etc. So this had a large sensor and it punched above its weight. The whole RX100 series from 1 to 7, they've all been highly rated. They've all been able to produce fantastic photos and videos, and the last iteration, the 7, is no different. So I'll just run through some of the features so that you know what this is all about. Get the power button there, and what you've got here is a 1-inch sensor that is it's a 24 to 200 millimeter full frame equivalent. So you've got a long focal range there, f2.8 to f4.5, and you can see zooming out here. Quite amazing. You've got the flip out screen here like that. It kind of goes around like that as well if you want to do low shots. And you've got an external microphone input, charging, micro B, and you've got HDMI there as well. So it's obviously of the small variety. Now, despite the fact that this is super lightweight, super small, they somehow managed to put in a viewfinder and a flash. Now, if you don't know a lot about cameras, you might not appreciate the significance of that, but there's a lot of cameras 2 or 3 times the size of this that don't have a viewfinder or they don't have a flash. The reason is, mainly because they save space, but also because they're normally a second attachment. But Sony managed to put all of that into one package, so it's just an amazing little all-round solution. Now, if you're looking to take photos, this is great because it's super light, it's super small. You don't have to carry around a camera bag, additional lenses, etc. You can just put this in your jeans, your jacket, your shorts, and you can go about all day. Just take a few extra batteries if you need be, and a few extra SD cards, and just take as many photos and videos as you need. And it's a fantastic solution for that because, especially during the day, that this produces amazing high quality images, but you've got that 24 to 200 millimeter range, so it covers you in pretty much every situation you would want, if you're going about all day doing touristy things. Now, one of the reasons I bought this, and the main reason really, is video. And that's why this was so popular with YouTubers as well. You've got that flip out screen for that. You've got the 1-inch sensor. You've got the external microphone. What you didn't have was obviously a cold shoe mount, which is why cages like this were so popular. You pop this in, you can still flip out the screen, and you can then use one of the cold shoe mounts like that, if I can get it in, like that. You use one of the cold shoe mounts and you have that. And in 2019, 2020, you probably saw many YouTubers saying this was the ultimate vlogging solution. And it really was back then. This was one of the best options for recording vlogs and recording videos on YouTube. The only downside, I guess, would be, when you're holding it up like this, the 24mm equivalent was sometimes a little bit too tight. But there were some third-party companies like Ulanzi that came out with like filter lenses or filters that made it wide angle, that reduced it from 24mm down like 20mm or lower. So it was a highly flexible solution. Now, I will say, for 1080p recording, this was perfect. For 4K, not so much. Now, the footage from this in 4K was very high quality. It was really good. But it had a 1.08 crop in 4K. So obviously, you know, it was above 24 millimeters. And then it was a 1.19 crop when you added stabilization. Now, it was quite good from a stabilization point of view, but that made it super tight when you were vlogging, you know, if you use stabilization. So that wasn't ideal. But the bigger problem was overheating. You know, this can do 4K, but anything over 5 minutes and this will overheat. It really just wasn't practical to use this as a 4K camera for anything more than just a few short clips and then, you know, piecing them together. So if you were doing kind of longer recording, you're better sticking to 1080p. Now, I did buy this for YouTube. I used it in many different ways. I've not spoke about this camera a lot on this channel, really, but I did use it a lot behind the scenes for photos, for B-roll, for, you know, for additional clips and videos, and it was amazing for that. But over the last year, I have found myself using my phone for little video clips or little photos, and that's one of the reasons why I'm selling this on, because it just became a little bit easier to just use my phone in some situations, and then I found myself not using this. It just became easier to use that. And more recently, from a video perspective, if I wanted to do a video myself or do some additional footage, I would turn to my other camera. So I have picked up a few extra cameras recently. I'm trying to upgrade all my whole camera setup. This is the Sony a7C. I've got a 24mm prime. Got the Sony ECM1PM microphone. So that has replaced this. Now, looking at the difference here, what would you rather vlog with? This is going to give you amazing quality, but you can see why this was appealing. Just look at how small and lightweight and portable this is in comparison. So this is obviously a lot better. It's a lot more powerful, but the downside is that's more expensive. It's heavier. Pick your poison. So like I was saying, this is surplus to requirements for me. But for many people, this would be a fantastic solution for going, you know, traveling with or for doing YouTube. I'm sure many of you are aware that Sony have kind of ended this range. They've not released another RX100 camera since the 7 in 2019. They've really focused on this new Z range or the Z range, the ZV-1 and all these kind of different cameras. There's many kind of portable cameras that Sony have released, and those ones are even more geared towards YouTubers. They've got, you know, like different options for bokeh and different things. So this is kind of maybe been in the shadows the last year or so because of that. But it's still an amazing solution. It's been an amazing camera for me, and I really don't have too many bad things to say about it. You know, it's easy for me to say, well, you know, this camera produces better footage, it produces better photographs, but it is what it is. This is a small, portable traveling solution. And one of the reasons I kept this was because when I did go traveling, or when I did go out and want to get good footage, I'm more inclined to take something small. And, you know, if it's smaller, it's lighter, I'm more inclined to take it. I'm more inclined to get the shots that I need. So I'm selling it on. It is surplus to requirements, really. That's the conclusion I've came to. But this is an amazing little camera. I'm kind of sorry to see it go, but this is still a camera I can recommend. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've never owned an RX100 series camera, look into them, especially the older version from the 7. You know, from a used perspective, there's some really amazing bargains out there on eBay for these cameras, and many of them are still capable, very capable of great photos and great video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.